good, Spiros? I am driving to the spot. It's 7:30 a.m. Here we are at the zone. It's not as remote as I would like. I just need a fish to eat, so let's see what we can do. Rocking the Ocean Ammo roller again, so just want to get that thing loaded as soon as possible. New carbon fins as well, pretty aggressive for a shore dive. The first fish I encounter here is going to be this needlefish, and I gotta take him because I need some chum. You'll see I do a little duck dive. You always want to do that before you shoot a surface fish. I hit him a little high. It's a very thin target, so I needed to baby him and not put on much pressure at all. I can see that the heavy weight of the shaft is really dragging this fish down by a lot because the fish itself only weighs about a quarter pound, so gotta really play it light. I actually end up picking up the shaft so then I can manually reduce the tension as much as possible, which is an important tip in case you're in this situation with a higher stakes fish. So he's thrashing like crazy. I'm starting to pull him in, try to get my hands on him without getting bit. Even though it's a very small fish, they have some nasty teeth, and I don't want to get bit and ruin the dive right away. You can see this thing was literally hanging on by a thread, but I got him in my hands. Even though I'm using this fish for chum, I want to humanely dispatch him so that I can, carry it conveniently and he doesn't suffer. They're a pretty cool looking fish. I've actually eaten one of these before. I just personally don't like the way it tastes. Even the little guy's got to get a swipe in. Now that I have a little bit of bait and a flasher all in one, I decided to just let this thing sink at the first fishy zone I see. I let the needlefish sink all the way to the bottom and start to do a drop. I immediately get bum rushed by these baby yellowjacks. These ones were a little bit too small, even for me, so I just sat down there, waited a bit, see if anything better comes along, and enjoy the view. It's pretty funny how chill some fish are when you're not hunting them and you just hang out. Nothing else came along, so I head back up to the top to try something new. I whip this needlefish head to try to draw something in from the depths. I let it sink all the way to the bottom, then I do my drop. Just enjoying the clear water, let out a couple grunts, and settle in. Off in the distance, I spot a decent porgy, and these are always on my radar for something to hunt. He stays far away, and I didn't have a good breath, so I just gave up on him. The next drop is a blind one on a fishy looking zone. I end up seeing a really big lionfish, but also there's a nice Nassau grouper right there. These Nassaus are protected in Puerto Rico, so I don't mess with them. But right there, I could also hear a lobster escaping into a cave. I must have spooked it without noticing, so I'm keeping my eye out for any antennas. If I don't end up seeing them, and just head back up. Right here I see some bait twinkling in the sunlight, so I throw my needlefish head and try to see if anything good is chasing it. I'm trying to show you guys a lot of the techniques that I use to have some of these great encounters with fish. At this point, I'm not 100% committed to shooting it. I just would have gone for the stone shot if possible. Personally, I don't eat barracuda, so this would only be used for chum. I like to show you guys my fails too. Not a lot of YouTubers are doing it. I obviously failed with this fish, but it was one of those half-committed shots. Here's the moment of truth. finally at this nice drop off. It goes from about 40 feet to 65 feet, and it's rocky. So when I get to a fishy zone like this is exactly why I shot the needlefish in the beginning, so I have chum. I'm trying to watch it fall. I let the chum spread out a little bit, so I want to keep my eyes on all the pieces in case a mackerel comes up out of nowhere, or if snappers are eating it at the bottom. I'm trying to chum thoughtfully because I only have one piece. At this point I had seen something massive swim by. I thought it was either a big cuda or possibly a giant king mackerel. So you see that can sinking to the bottom. It's something I dropped because I saw David Ochoa do this in one of his videos. I didn't see any fish looking at it, so this was a blind drop just to go pick up the can. As I'm sinking down, I realize that Monster King is here. I'm trying to just lean into him as it continues to get deeper. Another heartbreaker. Now I have the kick up of shame from 60 feet. I couldn't believe I missed my opportunity.
Damn it.
I really felt terrible about losing that king. I had realized as I was approaching the fish that my roller wasn't all the way loaded to the last notch, and I tried to get close enough, but apparently it was still out of range. I was really close to just giving up for the day, but I was seeing some life, so just decided to stick it out and try to get something before I go home. I shot that barjack and am quickly returning to the drop off to chum it. Part of me just was hoping that that king mackerel would return, or maybe some other big fish. Nothing came back at that drop off, but on my way in I found a nice patch of reef and I spotted a big mutton from the surface. I confirmed that my roller's all the way loaded once I saw this fish in case I needed to take a long shot. Muttons are rather intelligent fish, so I'm hiding and trying to follow it from a distance, but not directly hunt it. As you can see, I'm keeping it in my peripheral vision and trying not to let it out of my sight so I know exactly which cave he goes into. I decided to take my drop because I know he's only got one option. I watch him enter the cave, and as I approach it, I make sure to deload my gun. So it's really important just to be aware if you're using a roller how much power you're using so you don't break your shaft into the rocks. Stone! I was pretty fired up to get a clean stone on this mutton, swipe him on the way up, and then dispatch him just to make sure he's fully not suffering.
Oh, it's a stoner.
Stoning this fish was really meaningful to me because it taught me never to give up. I was really feeling done with spearing for the day after losing that mackerel, but I just stuck it out, stayed in the water for another couple hours, and thankfully I was rewarded once again. I bleed and gut the fish to preserve the eating qualities, and then swipe them again for good measure. Shout out the homie Moth. I kicked around a bit longer but didn't find anything good, so at least I was exiting the water with a nice mutton. As you can see, this zone is not very remote at all, and if you know where I am, I'm probably blowing up my own spot right now.
Got back to the car. Super bummer I missed that huge king. Almost gave up, but stuck with it, kept diving, and eventually I found this guy. Super nice sama. Can't complain. Anytime you get a sama like that, it's always a blessing. I mean, that's plenty for me to eat. The king mackerel would have been great, but it is what it is. We'll get them next time. Just get a little bit closer and make sure to pay good attention to the power setting on the roller.
At the end of the day, I hunt to feed myself and my family, so I really take my time when I'm filleting my fish. While that's cooking, you'll prepare some of the ceviche. So as you can see, I'm cooking up the skeleton in the cast iron and the collars because I really like to eat all the parts of the sama. Then with the fillets, I'm dicing it up for ceviche. I scaled the fish in the water too, so I even threw those skins in the oil. So I'm grubbing the frame right now of the sama. The secret ingredient. So that does it for this video. Thank you if you made it to the end. I'm at the point with spearing where I really take it personally with these mistakes, so hopefully just try to get better next time. Big thanks to my homies, Florida Spearos, Moth, and Spear Quest for their help. I woke up the next morning literally just thinking about this moment right here. So be better than me out there, stay safe, keep diving.